So let's talk about the AI boom. It's everywhere, right? The headlines are promising this incredible revolution that's going to change, well, everything. But is it for real? Or is this whole thing just a massive bubble built on hype? Today, we are going to peel back the marketing and launch a full-on investigation into the kind of harsh truths of this AI gold rush.
Okay, let's just get right into it. On one side, you have the story the media is selling us. AI is this all-powerful genie, ready to grant our every wish. But then you look at the other side, the real world, where engineers and creators are actually trying to use this stuff. And for them, it's a lot less like a genie and a lot more like a bull in a china shop. Yeah, it's powerful, for sure, but it's also chaotic, destructive, and it leaves a huge mess in its wake.
So, where do we even begin our investigation? We're going to start with the big picture. The hidden costs that, well, all of us in society are paying for this super fast, unchecked expansion of AI. This is about way more than just code. It's about our laws, our trust in each other, and our entire culture. Right at the very heart of AI's legal and ethical mess is something many people are calling the original sin of training data. And what is that? It's the simple fact that almost all of these major AI models were built by just scraping the entire internet, hoovering up massive amounts of copyrighted art, music, text, all of it, without asking permission and without paying a dime. This means the entire industry is, arguably, built on the biggest intellectual property heist in human history.
And this sin isn't some abstract idea. It shows up in very real ways. You've got music generators like Suno that are causing absolute panic in record labels. You've got visual artists who are watching their life's work and their unique styles get completely ripped off by companies like Stability AI. And in some cases, it's just straight up copying. I mean, an AI spitting out lyrics that are identical to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Come on. This is not inspiration, it's infringement, and it's happening on a massive scale.
And this whole problem goes way beyond just music and art. It leads to a much more personal and, frankly, a much scarier question. In this age of hyper-realistic deepfakes, who owns your face? Who owns your voice? I mean, think about it. If an AI can perfectly replicate you, what's to stop anybody from using your digital twin without your consent?
And no, this isn't some theoretical, far-off problem. It's happening right now, and is fueling a massive crisis of trust. Criminals are already using AI to create ghost identities to commit fraud. Scammers are cloning the voices of loved ones to make fake kidnapping calls. And that biometric security we all thought was so foolproof, an Australian welfare agency had their voice print system totally breached by AI. The fundamental idea that seeing is believing is just collapsing right in front of us. Now, okay, let's even put aside the huge legal and ethical problems for a second. Even then, the promise of this magical productivity boost, well, it isn't really panning out. Business owners thought they could just plug in an AI and poof, all their problems would be solved. Instead, they immediately slammed into the data quality wall. Turns out, most company data is a complete disorganized mess. And if you feed dirty data into an AI, all you get are biased, error-filled results, just faster.
All right, now our investigation is going to take us from the big societal picture right down into the trenches to what we can only call the engineer's nightmare. We're going to explore the deep technical reasons why this AI, which looks so amazing in a demo, often just fails spectacularly in the real world.
So the core of the problem is this fundamental conflict in how things work. Traditional software is deterministic. It's like a light switch. You flip it, the light comes on, every single time. AI, on the other hand, is a probabilistic engine. It's basically a very fancy prediction machine. You give it an input, and it essentially rolls the dice to guess what the next word should be. It might give you the right answer, or it might give you something else entirely. And that randomness, that uncertainty, is an absolute nightmare when you're trying to build reliable systems.
Now, you might be thinking, but wait, what about those massive context windows? Can't AI just read a whole book now? Well, not so fast. Research has found this phenomenon called lost in the middle, where these models pay attention to the stuff at the beginning and the end of a document, but completely ignore crucial details buried in the middle. Plus, using those giant context windows is incredibly expensive and super slow. And the supposed fix for this, a technique called RAG, can actually make things worse by fetching the wrong info, which then causes the AI to confidently make things up based on bad data.
Okay, you know what? Talk is cheap. Let's run a little hardcore code demo to see this failure in action. The task is so simple for a normal computer program. An AI agent just needs to take a user's request for a flight and give back the details in a strict standard data format called JSON. This is like programming 101, a basic building block for thousands of apps.
And this just perfectly illustrates the problem. Look, on the left, that's the perfect, clean JSON we need for the system to work. In the middle, that's the AI's first try. It just added some random extra text. That would instantly crash the program. Okay, so look at the right, the second attempt. It's almost right, but it added a random comma at the end. You know what that does? Another crash. The AI is failing at a simple, critical instruction, not just once, but in different, totally unpredictable ways each time.
And this really brings us to the perfect summary from an engineer's point of view. A tool that looks absolutely amazing in a demo becomes nothing more than a hair-pulling, random failure generator the second you try to rely on it in a live production system where mistakes have actual consequences.
And this all leads to what you could call a false prosperity for developers. Sure, these AI tools can spit out code really fast, but now your senior engineers are trapped in code review hell, spending all their time hunting for tiny, subtle flaws in the AI's code. Your junior engineers develop a crutch dependency so they never learn the fundamentals. And all this messy, unoptimized code creates a massive explosion of technical debt, which just makes the whole system harder and slower to maintain down the road.
So after digging through the societal fallout and the engineering nightmares, what's the final verdict from our investigation? Well, it's not about trying to kill AI. It's about figuring out how we can tame this digital beast before it does any more damage.
So what have we really learned? First, that this so-called prosperity is built on some really shaky legal ground. Second, our collective trust in what we see and hear has been dangerously overdrafted. Third, the promised productivity is really just hiding a mountain of technical debt. And what does that all add up to? We're living in a chaotic Wild West that is desperately crying out for some rules.
So the boom isn't entirely fake, but it is fragile, it's chaotic, and it's pretty dangerous. The technology is here, and it's not going anywhere. Which leaves all of us with the single most important question. As we stand here on the frontier of this new era, who is going to step up and write the rules for this new Wild West?